Hey everybody, it's Silver Seeker and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at some sales numbers. That's right, we actually have the sales numbers in front of us for the US Mint's Gold and Silver Bullion sales. Now we're talking Silver Eagles as well as Gold Eagles and Gold Buffaloes. And I think a lot of you have heard already that there's been a sharp decline. So I actually want to take a look at those numbers. We're also going to take a look at the monthly and yearly sales figures going back to 2019 and see if there really is a decline in the sale of these bullion products or if June is just a fluke and we have seen this before. So let's go ahead and take a look at those numbers and talk about why it may be. But before we do, if you're new here, if you like videos like this and you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps me out and I greatly appreciate it. All right, let's take a look at these numbers. Okay, so we have a chart up on the screen. We're going to go ahead and take a look at Silver Eagle Bullion sales first, and we'll actually go ahead and blow this up for you so you can see it in full screen like me. And what I did here with this chart, it's actually quite simple. It's not very hard. I took all of the sales data from 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022, and I compiled them into the spreadsheet to make it very simple. So you can see in 2019, we had 14.8 million ounces of Silver Eagle bullion sold by the US Mint. That number jumped in 2020 to 30 million ounces. Now, this absolutely can be attributed to the pandemic. There were people worried about the economy with the pandemic going into full swing. And as you can see here, you can look at 2019 to 2020, the first month, which was pre-pandemic, we had 4 million versus 3.8 million in 2020. February, which is basically pre-pandemic, you had 2 million versus 650,000. And then March, we start getting into pandemic numbers. You can see a huge increase of 5.5 million. Of course, we had shutdowns here. So these numbers are going to be lower because the production was much lower, so they couldn't produce as many to sell. And then as production started to ramp back up, you see 1 million, back up to 4 million, 3.4, 4.8, and then December we had a drop off of 751,000 with a total sales in 2020 of 30 million. Now in 2020 that sentiment stayed up. We had 28 million total sales, and if you take a look in January through June, we actually had a higher number of sales total January to June, which is what these numbers are, versus January to June of 2020. Now going into 2022 and the reports that you're seeing coming out, you can see June actually had a huge decrease. This is where the reports come from, of 861,000 ounces sold versus 2.8 million sold in June. But if we take a look, that's not the first major decline that we have had this year. Take a look at March with 1 million sold versus 4 million sold in 2021 of March. Of course, February and March of 2021, as you guys know, was basically the silver squeeze time. So that actually attributes to the amount of silver that is sold. Of course, we also saw Silver Eagle premium skyrocketing. So why is this number starting to drop off? And just to take a look, I put this chart over here. As you can see, we had an increase. This is just January through June, by the way. Obviously, you can't do a chart including the entire year since July through December hasn't been reported yet or even happened yet for 2022. But as you can see in 2019, 2020, it went up. 2021, it's back up. And now in 2022, our January through June sales are the lowest they've been since 2019. So there's definitely a decrease in the amount of demand for Silver Eagles from the US Mint. And why is that? Well, personally, between me and you, I believe that there is a big decrease because the premiums are sky high. We've talked about the demand for Silver Eagles for quite some time. In fact, if we go back and look at the video I did just a couple of days ago where I called around a lot of shops. There were many shops that didn't have any 90% in stock. There were many shops that didn't have any silver rounds in stock. And if you guys haven't seen that video, I will put a link in the description below. But almost every single shop that we called had what? Silver Eagles. And why is that? That's because the premiums are too high on Silver Eagles. I am not personally buying for my stack Silver Eagles, period, right now. I'm just not interested in Silver Eagles. The premiums are too high. I believe that they will eventually come down. In fact, if you look at Eagle premiums, for example, looking at APMEX at $14.99 over spot, right now silver is $19.19. That is a live number at the bottom of the screen there that is updating as I record this. That premium is getting very close to being a 100%, or in other words, double spot premium. If we continue to see premiums like that on Silver Eagles, the demand is going to continue to drop. I do believe that we are actually looking at a full drop in demand on silver Eagles right now because of this right here. You can just see it, and because of the premiums. And I don't necessarily think that that is going to equate in a lower sentiment or demand for silver overall. I just believe that Silver Eagles, with the premiums where they are, it's just way too high. It's insane. Something needs to happen. Those numbers need to come down. I hope that they do start coming down. And as you guys know, we will continue to track those numbers every single month as we have been. Again, that video will be linked down below if you haven't seen it yet. So one other thing I want to take a look at is gold bullion. So I actually did these charts for gold bullion as well. We'll go ahead and zoom back in here. Now gold is actually still seeing an increase. It did have a major decrease in June, but it's not the first time we've had major decreases, especially if you look at the increase in demand from March to March 2021 to March 2022. Now keep in mind, these numbers are a little bit different than you're seeing in any other reports, because I went a little bit farther and I included the Eagle plus the Buffalo sales. So these numbers right here, if you see in the chart right here, 155,500 plus 64,500 for the formula. That's because the 64.5 was for Buffaloes, the 155.5 was for Eagles. So this is actually including both Eagles and Buffaloes. But as you can see, we had a huge increase in demand in March from 99,000 to 220, 49,000 to 115,000. In May, a huge increase in demand, 64,000 to 231,000. June, we had a sharp decline. But I'm not really worried about that because we've seen such sharp increases in previous months. I don't really think that that is a good indicator to look at 1 month where we had a drop off and just call it a huge decrease in demand. There could be other factors there. It could be the way the timing worked out with people ordering bullion. Maybe they ordered a bunch in May. They didn't need to order a bunch in June. And hopefully, well, I won't say hopefully because I'm not the one selling them, but hopefully for the mint, you will see that numbers increase going into July. But so far, if you look at this chart right here in the bottom right, that I am highlighting, you can see the numbers are actually still up for 2022. The same cannot be said for Eagles. So if you take a look at the sharp drop off in Eagle demand, look at 2021. This is just January through June. 2021 to 2022, a sharp decline. If you look at it in gold, the numbers are still rising, even though in June we did see, of course, that major drop off. But again, nobody's really talking about, the opposite happened in May. So that is what I have for you guys today. I hope that you enjoyed the video. It's just kind of a little bit of look and insight into what I think is going on with the Silver Eagle and gold bullion sales from the U.S. Mint. That includes Buffaloes and Eagles. I think right now the Silver Eagle premiums are too darn high. We've talked about it in many videos. I know I'm talking about it again. I might sound like a broken record, but personally, I'm looking at other semi-NUMI stuff that has a lower premium, like Maples, like Philharmonics, things like that for my semi-NUMI, for my actual minted bullion coins, government coins. You're just looking at other countries because the Eagles are too high. And then, of course, majority of what I'm stacking right now is generic stuff, so bars and rounds, because those have the lowest premiums, and I still definitely am stacking silver, especially in this market with the spot being down, even with the premiums a little bit high. I personally don't take this as financial advice. Don't take this as telling you, hey, go buy silver. But I personally am still putting silver in my personal stack because I think with the spot price where it is right now, it's a good time to buy. But that, again, is just my opinion. Please form your own, make your own decisions. Don't just do what I do. But there you go, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed my little bit of an analysis there, putting together the numbers for you to see. And now that I have these spreadsheets put together, I'll keep them saved and I'll continue to update them as time goes on. So if you subscribe, you can actually see me update this in a couple of months when we see July's and August and September sales come through, and we can see what's actually happening. Is the demand for Eagles, gold and silver Eagles and gold Buffaloes dropping or rising from the U.S. Mint? Was June just a fluke? We'll find out in a few months as we add those numbers in to our chart and update our spreadsheets. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.